Gentlemen, today is November 15th. It is an A day. Today's question is how many chromosomes are found in a human skin cell? So that's a somatic cell, it's a body cell. So we're going to go look at tonight's homework. Last night's homework was packet pages 2 and 3, and we're going to get ourselves onto this concept. This is Gregor Mendel's experiment. He was the father of genetics. Why did he become the father of genetics? Because he was actually the first person that figured it out. He didn't look inside a microscope. He didn't notice that we had genes, but he knew something was controlling our traits. And his experiment dealt with pea plants. So what did he do? He reproduced and cross-fertilized or cross-pollinated, actually, pea plants. So he had different colors to work with. He had purple and he had white peas to work with. Every time he crossed a purple and a white, he noticed, what did he get? Only purple. But then he took purples and he crossed them, and he noticed that he got 3 purple and 1 white. But he didn't do one experiment, he did thousands of experiments. Every single time he had 75% purple and he had 25% white. So if he had 1,000 pea plants, he would have 750 purple and 250 white. But he did thousands upon thousands. He didn't do this experiment in one summer. He did it in several years because he needed the data to justify his thought pattern. He had the same question as you guys had. Why is this happening? So he's looking. Something must happen where you get your factors from your parents. So he knew these were pure. He knew these were pure, and for today's purposes, we're going to call the pure ones homozygous. Homozygous. He knew they were homozygous. He knew they only had one kind of gene for flower color. This guy had purple genes, and he only had white genes. So you get your genetic information from whom? One half from your mom, one from your dad. So what's the only genes this purple flower can give this offspring, Thomas? What color? Purple, thank you. So we're only getting purple from this. This offspring will be, or this parent rather, will give its offspring what color? What gene? You're right, Zaria, what color? White. So he has one purple gene and one white gene, and he's confused right now. Why? He doesn't know that it has a white gene. He just knows he crossed these. He knows he's given it white eggs. He doesn't know that there's a hidden gene yet. He doesn't know that until the next generation, because all of a sudden the white trait reappears. How does it reappear? What do you get your traits from? Where do you get them from? You're getting your genes and you're getting your characteristics always from only your parents. This is the first generation. This is like grandma and grandpa. These are the parents and these are the babies right now, the offspring. So if the parent right here, and then we'll put another parent right there, what are the genes that this parent has? One purple and one white. So what can this guy have? What's a possible genes he can get? 2 purples. One from this guy and one from this one. 2 purples. So it's definitely going to be purple. It can also get 1 purple and then a white. Or it could give it a white, but this one could give it a purple. And this one can give it a white, and that one can give it a white. So there is a probability here that 75% of them will be purple and 25% will be white. This guy only has what kind of genes? White. So it can only give the white gene. He figured this out. It took him years. He is being studied, and he's being credited 200 years later. It's crazy that we don't actually observe our environment the way they did back then. We're so distracted with all these other things that we're not even allowing our brains to develop cognitively like it should. Cognitively. Metacognition, remember we talked about that word? Your brain development and how your brain operates. Your cognitive ability is your brain. Yes, Takai. Quickly. Well, okay. There are some genes that are called codominant. That means they both are fighting to display their trait, and they will blend. This one, the white one's too tired to fight. So what does it do? It hides. It lets the purple take over and hides. It's shy. But once it's with another white, it can't hide anymore. It only can express itself. And we call them, from last night's homework, what do you call the genes that hide? They get blocked. Am I right? Recessive. Good job. What do we call the genes that do the blocking? Those blocking genes, they're strong, they're tough, they're they're what? Marcel? They're really strong. Janae? They're dominant. Marcel, what are they called? Dominant traits. So we have dominant genes and we have recessive genes. So throughout this unit, we're going to talk about genes that are dominant, genes that are recessive. And all these genes are found where? Where are they found, Thomas? They're found in your... They come from your DNA, but they're found in your... They're found where? Where are they located, Nico? In your cells. Inside the cell, there is a control center called your nucleus. The nucleus houses these structures that give you your traits. What are those structures called? Well, the ribosomes make these things. Chromosomes. The chromosomes are made up of a little bit bigger than DNA. Made up of genes. And finally, the genes are made from large molecules called DNA. Today, your task is from this paper that you should have taken from the black table. Get it out. Put your name on it. Today's date is the 15th. Put that on it. Hello, fellow embryologists. Who would like to read this in the microphone for the lesson, quickly and quietly? Nice and proud. Come up here. Okay, go.
Hello. Oh, okay. Someone in the lab mixed up all the embryos. Your job is to identify the organism based on the number of chromosomes you see in their gametes.
Good job.
You will look at the gametes on the slide and count the number of chromosomes in each.
Thank you. Terms necessary to complete this task. First term.
Gamete.
Thank you. Who can tell me what a gamete is? What is a gamete? Go ahead, Frankie. Perfect answer. So on your paper, this is what you're writing down. Gamete. Male or female reproductive cell? Good job. On the next line, it says male gamete. The specific male gamete in an animal is called what, Thomas? Sperm. Good. Can somebody tell me what the male gamete is called in a flower? Go ahead, Marcel.
Stamen.
Okay, the stamen is the organ. Good job. Take a deep breath. The stamen is the organ, and the stamen houses these little reproductive cells, and you said it, called pollen. Good job. So sperm or pollen, but in this case, we're only going to look at sperm. Now, each one of these sperm have what percentage of chromosomes? Emerson, 50%. Good job. The female gamete. What is the female gamete called, Gavina? Male gamete is a sperm. The female gamete is called the... Good job. It is, the organ is the ovary, and you are right, it is called the egg. The egg has what percentage of information in it, James? 50. Good. So you get 50 from your mom and 50 from your dad. So each one of these plates is going to emulate a slide. It's going to be a slide, make-believe slide, a microscope slide. Because the sperm and the egg are so tiny, you can't see them. But if you put them under the microscope, you'll be able to look inside and see their chromosomes. Your job is going to be to count up the male chromosomes and the female. The males are blue, and the females I made red. And then you're going to add them up to figure out how many are in their whole body cells. So, what is a chromosome exactly? What is the term chromosome describing? Chromosome is what? Yes, Arya. Good job. It is a structure inside your nucleus that carries your genetic information. It is the structure that carries your genes. Your chromosomes are unique to you. Every organism has their own number of chromosomes. Sometimes it's just coincidental that some organisms might have the same number of chromosomes as each other. Like Cats and pigs have the same number of chromosomes. They both have 38. But their chromosomes are different when you look at them in real big detail with what's on them. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because it's not a good picture, but this is the number of chromosomes inside a fly. Let's count the blue sticks. How many chromosomes does a fly have? 4. Yes, 4. Now, if you look at this, I don't know if you can read this, but it says over here that on chromosome number 2, the gene for curly wings is right here. So scientists for years have recognized where all the traits are, and they can genetically engineer any fly they want based on the pieces of the genes. They could remove this gene right here. They can cut it out, put it in a zygote of another fly, and make the fly they want. I want curly wings. I want sepia eyes, and I want the eyes to sparkle. I want it to have the specific body, and I want it to have stripes. There's stripes somewhere on this side. We can genetically engineer any fly. Oh. No. Go again. We're good. Your job is going to be to count the chromosomes at each station and decide which organism it is. Because all of the embryos look like they're different. So I don't know which one is which. Oh, they got messed up. You guys got to figure it out for me. I need you to define embryo before we go. What is an embryo? Why are we doing this? I need you to figure out what the organism is because the embryo is unidentifiable. Why, Frankie? It's a fertilized egg that has undergone cell division that has been through the blastula-gastrula stage and is differentiated into a small little tiny little organism that is not what? It's not quite yet developed. So it's undeveloped offspring or organism. It's an undeveloped organism. It's not developed yet. And generally in the first stages, because we're all made of cells, characteristics of life, we all start to look alike in the beginning. And then as we progress and as we develop, then we start to change and look different. So one of these stations, there's a human. Is it this one, station 4? Is it this one, station 2? Could it be station 3? I have no idea. They all look alike and they're all messed up because Marcel did it. I did nothing. So your job is to figure out what they are. It should not take you any more than 5 minutes because you guys are geniuses, and that's station 1. One of them is a human. Work with the partner, go to each station, count the chromosomes, and get back to your seat when you're done. On your papers, there is a section labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. That is where you identified each organism. Organism number 1. Raise your hand and tell me what organism number 1 is. And Asia will identify it for us because she is the guest scribe. Natalie. It is a cat. How did you know that organism number 1 was a cat? Good. So right next to cat, please write 38 and write body cells. That means that you have 38, or cats have 38 chromosomes in their body cells. Thank you for writing this down. Let's go. The organism number 2. What was organism number 2? Zaria. Oh, it could have been a pig. Yes, why could it have been a pig? Good. And at this point, are we able to discriminate between the embryos? No. So it could also be a pig. So if you had pig, you'd also be correct. Like if you wrote pig, write body cells next to the number 38. If you counted them correctly at station 2, what did you get? Station 2, Amira, what did we get? A rabbit. How do we know that it's a rabbit? Good. 44 chromosomes in its body cells, right? Body cells. So the rabbit had how many chromosomes in its gametes? How many chromosomes in the rabbit's gametes? Gee, 44 is in the body cells, but how many in its gametes? What do you get from your mother? Not all of them. You get 50%. So what's 50% of 44? You counted them. Look at your paper. No, organism number 2. Well, for station 2, male gamete should have how many? Station 2, male gamete had how many? Emerson, 22. So when you add up the sperm and the egg, you should get 44. Do you got that? Station 3. Nico. Human. Station 3 was a human. It has 46 chromosomes in every single one of our body cells. How many chromosomes, Paige, do we have in our sperm cells? Well, boys do. Good. How many are in our egg cells, Thomas? 23. Good job. Each one of the humans have 46 chromosomes in all of their cells. How about station 4? Zaria. It is cattle. Cattle has 60 chromosomes in their body cells. Good job. How many chromosomes does a cattle have, Brendan, in its egg cells? The female cow has how many? In her egg cells, she only has 50% of it. You counted those. They should have only been how many? 30. Good. And the sperm cells should have how many, Jaden? 30. So half of each. Good job. All right, take out your yellow notes. Thank you. Take out your yellow notes. We have to finish this because we didn't finish yesterday. Finish the notes from yesterday. You have the yellow notes attached to your paper. I got you. First page. We're on the first page. Okay? We're on the first page and we only got up to what? Chromosomes. Write it down. Chromosomes determine the trait of the organism. On each one of these chromosomes is what we're writing. Chromosomes. We wrote it already? Okay, so the first thing you should have written was what? Cell. Cells, and then nucleus, and then chromosomes. We're good? Okay. Third line is chromosomes. We'll skip to the third line, right? Chromosomes here. Chromosomes are made up of what? Each one of our chromosomes has what on them, Salik? Genes. And these genes control different traits. Right now, scientists have been able to identify 30,000 different genes. They know that eye color is on the 15th chromosome. And some of the eye color is on the 9th chromosome. So, for instance, if this was a chromosome, you got one from your mom and one from your dad. My mom gave me the brown-eyed chromosome gene and the blue-eyed gene. We're going to say that A1 is the gene for eye color. This little section that has been identified for you is the eye color gene. We know that we got two different genes. This section right here, B1 and B2, they look like they're the same genes on this chromosome. That gave me my fingernail shape. So every single chromosome has lots of genes on it. Why is this really important for us? Because if there's a disease in your family or if a risk of cancer, you're going to want to know about it so you can take precautions early. If you have the gene for breast cancer, then you want to go and get mammograms early in life. If you wait, you might be in trouble. You might have really developed cancer. So if there's anything, a history in your family, you want to go to the doctor and find out what your genes are. At this age? No, maybe a little bit older. Maybe like when you're 20. Okay, so every chromosome contains your genetic information. It contains your genes. Your genes, what are they? This is the next line. Good. Your genes. Your genes are part of your chromosomes that control your traits. Each one of them affects a different trait. And your genes are made up of what molecule? Your genes are made up of the big, long, twisted molecule called the double helix. What's its name? DNA. And these DNA molecules have all these different base pairs that match up and determine what gene they're going to make. So the DNA, they only have 4 base pairs, but their order determines what gene they make. And really what the gene does is make proteins that will be building things in your body. So like proteins control other parts of your body. So there is a gene, and then we talked about this, cystic fibrosis. Your body will not be able to absorb salt properly in the cells, so it makes the transfer of water in and out, the cytoplasm, and out of the cells difficult. So what happens is mucus builds up. And that's because the protein wasn't made properly because something happened with one of these base pairs. And the scientists know where to find that gene. Can we cure people based on where the genes are? No. We can just identify it. But we can prevent them from giving it to their offspring. You can do what they call genetic counseling. Sometimes people don't want to have babies if they know they're going to pass on bad genes. They know they have it and they don't want to give it to their babies. Well, it all depends because now we have a lot of treatment. People can live till they're 50 if they treat them right. Okay, DNA is the large molecule that determines the kind of gene that forms. This is the end of the first part of your notes. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.